Hello and good morning, everyone, wherever you are around the country. Absolutely amazing to be back online with you. And today I have Tina, who's Tina's been with us forever. You're one of our co-founders, aren't you?
Not quite, a while.
Yeah, been with us for such a long time, so it's absolutely amazing. So Tina and I have both Nicu mums, have gone through the experience multiple times, and we'll share a little bit about our story when we go through what we're going to talk about today. But first of all, it's been absolutely amazing. Such a big month, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely.
And last week we had World Prematurity Day. So that was a very big day last Tuesday. And it was so wonderful. If you've had time, hopefully you've seen through our feeds a lot of the amazing places that have gone purple for the day, lighted up purple, which has been absolutely incredible. And I've actually got one of these with me. All the little purple beanies that the little in the NICU that the babies were wearing for World Prematurity Day. And it was really important. It's a big day across the globe because it helps highlight how many babies are born premature. It's 1 in 10. In Australia, that equates to about 27,000 babies are born early. So it's a really wonderful day to be able to highlight the issues and create awareness, and also from our point of view, how we are supporting families through that time. So it's really important for us, and it's been absolutely big month. So thank you for everyone that's jumped on and helped support World Prematurity Day. But today we're talking about what's happening this Friday. So November's NICU Awareness Month. So across this entire month, we want to raise, awareness and highlight all the different parts of, what happens in this world when you're thrown into the world of having a baby that comes early or sick. So thank you, NICU Day. The reason that we, developed this day, and it's really important for us, is that we do so much, to highlight families and, what babies go through, but being able to have a day where we can say thank you to the staff. And I know for me, they played such a big role in terms of not only the development of my boys, but also how I coped through the process. So didn't you find that?
Oh, absolutely. Thanking the staff. At the end of the day, some people say they get paid for what they do. And yes, they do. Absolutely, they do. Mm-hmm. But if it wasn't for their love, support and care, and what they do for our babies is just phenomenal. Like, if it wasn't for them, and it's not just caring about our babies, but it's caring about our families. What's going on behind the scenes as well. I know myself, I had 2 children still at home when I had my daughter at 30 weeks. So that support they gave me and that understanding was unbelievable. I can't even put into words. That got me through every day. So that was, it's priceless. Priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, I found the staff almost became like family and friends to us. And, I remember at night I would ring and, see who's got him that night. And, you'd hear a familiar name and you would just relax, wouldn't you? You'd be able to sleep better on those nights when, you had some kind of comfort. So this day, and like I said, a lot of people, particularly when Miracle Babies first started, they had the misconception that we were all about premature babies. But it's not true. We're about NICU babies, NICU families, special care families. So whether your baby's been born early or they've actually gone into a NICU because they're sick, we're here to support those families because it's so important to be part of that journey and so important to be able to provide support, resources and education when you're going through that journey. So this is really special for us. If you want to, we can see the comments, so have your comments coming in. So hi Tina, I can see that you're watching. We love you too. That's amazing. So what we're going to show for you today is that in the past, pre-COVID, we used to have events in all the NICUs, a staff morning tea. The staff would come out and see us. We would have past parents would come, and sometimes they'd have their growing miracles to be able to take back into the unit and actually physically be there and have a presence and say thank you and supply the whole morning tea for them, which has been amazing. But with COVID, we can't do that, can we?
No, not at all. And it's been quite a challenge for us to find ways of still be able to thank the staff, the nurses, the doctors, everybody in the NICUs and special care nurseries. So we're just trying to be flexible in our little COVID world at the moment and trying to find the best way to still reach out to the staff and say a huge thank you.
Hi, Jeffrey, says Masada Chocolate supports you. Thank you so much. That's amazing. So we wanted to show you ways that you can get involved So one of the things that we've been doing for many years now is that you're able to provide a thank you message to the staff, and we relay them back to the staff. We show them, but we also relay them back. So if you jump on our website, and it should be in the link in the description of this video on how you can actually design a message for which hospital. You can mention staff names if you want to, and just be able to say thank you, and we'll share them on the day. So what Tina and I wanted to do today was actually share some of the messages that have been coming in, and also some of the staff highlights that we've got from Liverpool Hospital, which is where Milk for Babies first initiated back in 2005. And then also, if you have some staff that you want highlighted, send us a message and we'll reach out to them, and hopefully they'll be able to do that, and we'll be able to share that with everybody.
And can I say, sorry,
yeah,
Mel,
absolutely.
Please share your messages. It does go back to the hospitals, and they just love receiving the messages from you guys. It gives them a great feeling. It's nice to see, you know, if they looked after your baby, they might recognise your name and your baby's name, and it just gives them a purpose. And the feedback we get from the staff is very, very appreciative. So please just jump online. It takes all of about 3 minutes to write your message. And it's a great way to say thank you to the hospitals.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at some that have been coming through. So I have to get close to read that. So it doesn't matter which hospital you're at, you can send that message. So we have one from Emily that says, I still think of all of our amazing NICU and SCN nurses daily when I look at my adorable identical twin boys. Born at 31 weeks and 1 day, they spent their first 6.5 weeks in hospital. It was the toughest time of our lives, but the nurses gave us both strength every day the boys were there. They made us laugh and consoled us when we cried at the sheer gravity of the situation. They are truly a special type of nurse. That's amazing, Emily. And Joanna shares, thank you to all the wonderful NICU staff at the John. They took such great care of my baby when he had to have a 5-week stay after life-saving surgery. I'm so glad he had wonderful people to help give him love and cuddles when we could not be there. You're all heroes. So that's talking about Bankstown and the SCN there, and also the John Hunter Hospital. So that's really special. So these are the types of messages that we want you to share with us, and that we can pass them on to the hospital, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to move on. We're going to highlight some of the staff and what it means for them. So here's Sarah, and Sarah is one of the clinical nurse educators at Liverpool Hospital NICU. And here's what Sarah's had to say. Throughout my career, I worked in many NICUs here in Australia and overseas. On my return, I applied and was successful transitioning to the role of CNE, which is clinical nurse educator in Liverpool NICU. It's all worthwhile when you see the little ones graduate from our unit and go home with their families. So we definitely have an impact on the staff, don't we?
100%. We love Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one that I wanted to share with you was Roseanne, who is a registered nurse at Liverpool NICU. So we asked them, you know, what do you love about this role? She said, the thing I enjoy most is watching babies go home, knowing we've been part of their journey to get here. And the challenges that Roseanne's felt is that the road to going home isn't always smooth, and sometimes it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. That can be a hard time for parents and staff. And that's definitely the case, isn't it?
100%.
You know, trying to cope with that journey, it's amazing. So let's have a look at another message, some messages that have come through. Do you want to read them? I've been reading.
I don't know if I have my. No,
No,
I
you
can't.
can't.
I didn't.
Our screen's a little
Nana needs the
small.
glasses. Sorry.
So I'll leave it with me. So thank you to all the midwives and nurses who looked after myself and our twins. A special mention to Julie and all the SCN, Christine, Carol, Dee, Sunita and Sumi. We will forever be grateful for all your special care you provided Caden and Colby. You will always hold a special place in our hearts. Love, Kirk, Kate, Caden and Colby. So that's from Sydney Southwest Private Hospital. And then another message from Amy that she sent in. Thank you, NICU, for everything you did to try and save my son, Corbin, the best chance at surviving his premature birth. Although we never got to take him home, we were still blessed with 20 days of loving him. And that's from Amy thanking the staff at John Hunter Hospital. So absolutely amazing and touching. I think going to get a little bit teary when we go through these messages. So let's have a look at some more. So this is from Jana, and Jana's had 2 messages, one for Westmead Hospital and then one for, trying to see that, Blacktown Hospital. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for everything you did to save baby Webb. We are so grateful, and thank you will never be enough. Thank you for the care and support you provide at baby Webb. Thank you for being a home away from home and being there through the whole journey. Thank you for the encouragement, love and support you have shown in such a traumatic time. And I think the really important thing is, you know, you can see that Jana's shared 2 messages. I'm just going to bring us back onto the screen so I can look at you, Tina. And one of the, there we go. And I think one of the things that highlights is that, you know, Jana mentioned 2 hospitals, same baby, and, you know, for families that get transferred, that's a really hard thing, isn't it? Because you've got to get used to a new environment, new staff.
Yeah, I like in my role here at Miracle Babies, I help run the services and do a lot of support with the parents. And a lot of feedback is it's a huge transition from having baby in one hospital and then being transferred to a hospital close to home. And it's a double-edged sword. They're glad to be close to home, but it's a whole new learning curve if they're transferred to the other hospital after Bub's put on some weight and doing really well, just needs to learn the little things like learning how to suck and things like that. So like I said, it's mixed feelings. You're thinking, great, I'm closer to home, but on the other hand, I have to redo this. It's like starting a NICU journey or a special care nursery journey all over again. So that can be quite daunting for some people, and understandably so.
And we thank the staff, you know, that really help us through that transition because it's so important. So I just wanted to recap. We're reading some of the messages for Thank You NICU Day that are coming in. You can jump onto our website. The link should be in the description of this video, and send in your messages. Thank You NICU Day is this Friday, and they will definitely be sent to the NICUs, to the staff, and they love this opportunity to be able to read and see what's going on. So let's have a look at another staff member. Here we go. So this is Emily. What brought you to this role? So she wrote that I didn't even know this world existed, and I think that's the same for a lot of parents, 100%. Isn't it? Before my nursing career, I did a 6-month rotation in Campbelltown Special Care Nursery and never wanted to leave. That's absolutely amazing. There's such special people that look after our babies. What she loves about the role, she said there was too many things to list, but that she's honoured to be there looking after babies in their first minutes and hours of life and watching their journey, that she loves celebrating their weight gains, their first bottles, cuddles and baths, and discharging them home. And her challenges is that it's a very emotional job with lots of ups and downs. Sometimes your days off are wondering about a baby's progress or if you could have done something more or different on your shift. Now that's amazing, you know, that they still, even though, you know, we talked about the fact that it is a job, but it's not. It's so much more than that when they're dealing with not just a baby but families, and really wanting them to, you know, go home and thrive.
And that's what makes the staff of a special care nursery or a NICU so special. It's the empathy they have for the families. It's the care, the love. It's not just a job for them. It's a passion. And that is what we are forever grateful to them for. If you don't have that passion, you know, you're just not in the right job. And these guys and these girls all have an amazing passion. The love, the care that they give us all is just beyond words.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. They're the people that we want to celebrate on Friday, so hopefully you'll send your messages in.
And can I say more? You said earlier about how we used to do in hospital for Thank You NICU Day and go in and supply morning tea, and some of our old not old mums, I shouldn't say that word, on the old mum.
Yes.
Some of the parents that have had babies either in a nursery or a NICU go in and say thank you and take Bubs in, and the staff love seeing how much the little babies that they cared for, helped care for, have grown. And due to COVID, we are unable to do that, but we are sending the hospitals a little gift. We're sending them you know, just a little present. I don't want to spoil it.
Do they know? I know. I was just going to say,
no,
do they know that's coming?
It's not a lot, but it's our way of saying thank you. And so it's that little gift that they can have from. It's just a little treat for them from us to them to say thank you so much for what they do. And that's why these messages are so important too. It's a great way for them to see the impact they've had on families. Once you are discharged from the nursery or a NICU, they may not see you again.
Mhm.
So to get that little bit of feedback is just lovely. So please send in your messages.
And I remember that too, like even because you're so stuck in that world when
Oh,
you're
yes.
going through it, sometimes thank you is kind of like the last thing you're almost thinking of. It's like once you go home and you reflect on everything that you've gone through,
Yeah.
that you just feel this immense gratitude that, you know, you've kind of seen the end of it and you know, you've come out and you've been discharged to be able to give back and say thank you. It's so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
it does
depending,
something to the soul, doesn't it?
it does, 100% it does. And depending on if you've spent 5 days in a nursery or, you know, 5 months, your goal is to get out the door with that baby and go home and live some sort of normality. And like you said, sort of the last thing you think of, even though you've got all this love and care and thanks in your heart, you just want to get out those doors.
Yeah.
And it's not until you get home and you go, did I say thank you? I
Yeah.
can't remember if I said thank you. So, you know, and I'm sure you all did. I know we all did. It's just second guessing ourselves. But these messages are a great boost for the staff. They just love seeing them.
Absolutely. So I'm going to, I was not we shared Jenna. I wanted to, I've lost you. There was 2 messages that I wanted to share. Let's see if we can find them. There we go. This is what, so I know you said you can't see.
I
was going to get you to,
left my
I
glasses.
was going to get you to read these ones, but this is from you, Tina.
Yes, this is my way of saying thank you.
Yeah, so these are the 2 messages. So Tina's had the same experience that Jenna has had in terms of having to be at 2 different hospitals and be transferred. So thanking the staff there. So in the first message to Liverpool Hospital, Tina says, thank you to all the amazing staff at Liverpool NICU who helped look after my daughter Emerson, who was born at 30 weeks. Words cannot express my gratitude for not only giving her the care she needed, but the way you helped me to get through each day as I had 2 other children at home. From my family to my NICU family, thank you. That's beautiful.
Oh.
And then to the staff at Fairfield Hospital, thank you for the care they gave my son, who was born at 35 weeks. He spent 2 weeks in the special care nursery, and what was a very emotional time was made easier with the support of the wonderful nurses. Thank you. Did you want to talk a little bit about your experience?
Oh,
I'm actually
absolutely.
going to share some photos of Tina's beautiful kids. Here we go. Let's talk about them.
So my journey started 27 years ago. My son Josh is 27 now. He was only born probably about 3 weeks early and spent a few days in a special care nursery at Fairfield Hospital. And I was very lucky. I got to take him home with me the day I was released from the hospital. So, like I said, he's 27, 6'3" now and thriving. Then I had in 2002, I had my son Damon. Now, no medical reason, woke up one morning and full labour. So got to the hospital just in time and gave birth. And that was 18 years ago. He was 18 in September. And like I said, he was born at 35 weeks. I think his birth weight was about 2,365 grams. All he had to learn basically was to suck. 2 weeks in the special care nursery at Fairfield. Huge emotional shock. I'm a huge advocate for educating parents in what special care nurseries and NICUs do and that they're there. And unless you've lived it and just even seen the inside, you don't understand how important these units are for parents and for babies. I remember them saying to me when I had Damon, you can go home, but he'll have to stay there for a couple of weeks. I just broke down and cried. I just didn't know how to deal. Given that I wasn't educated, I knew he was early, but didn't think he would have to stay there. And it broke me. It really did.
It sounds naive now, doesn't it?
It sounds so naive.
I thought if the baby stays, you stay. Where am I going to go?
Correct.
Baby's here.
And like I said, I knew he was early. Yep, knew he was 5 weeks early. But then when they said those words and said he'll have to stay there, it just like broke me in half. And I said, no, I can't leave without him. So it was, I can't even explain the feeling. In 2005, I had my daughter at 30 weeks. So people say to me, how did you deal? She spent 6 weeks in the NICU at Liverpool Hospital and was born at 1.5 kilos. And people say to me, how did you deal with it? And I dealt with that so much better than what I dealt with having Damon my first preemie, leaving him in the NICU, in the special care nursery, leaving him without, and me going home without him. It's
Why do you think that is?
Because I was educated. I knew what the expectations were. I knew that she had to be there. Plus, I had 2 other children at home I had to deal with as well. And I think that's very, very daunting. As you would know, Mel, after having Jasper and then having to leave, and you had 2 other boys at home as well. So we've both been through that journey as well. And so education is key to the parents, and just letting them know that we don't wish them anything. We never want their children to be in a special care nursery or a NICU. But those units are there just in case. And it could be something as minor as jaundice, and it could be as something as severe as sickness or prematurity. But the education of the parents is so important.
And that's why we love to be able to highlight days like, or months like we've been, doing across November, to be able to raise awareness and hopefully change the journey for families, so it's not so much of that shock when you actually go in. So let's highlight another NICU nurse. So this is Leah, and she's one of the nurses at Liverpool NICU, and she says, I love that no day is the same. I love educating parents in the NICU, then seeing families in their home, caring and loving their child. When a baby smiles at me, all the hard days of the NICU just disappear. It's such a privilege to help families. And Leah says her challenges are that this year COVID has given us many challenges, and at times during that time, parents had only phone support, which isn't the same as face-to-face. This hasn't stopped parents from pushing on and achieving milestones for their baby. So this year's been a really different year, because part of Miracle Babies and, what matters so much to us is our parents' journey and our parents' experience. So to have them go through COVID, where a lot of the NICUs locked down and then weren't able to actually see their baby, and like Leah mentioned there, that, parents were having to just phone in and not actually getting that face-to-face time, which is so devastating. And I guess where staff and the way that they can support us becomes so amplified, doesn't it?
It does,
in terms of helping us through that journey.
And one of the biggest things that's why Miracle Babies was formed. And this was your idea, Mel, that we start Miracle Babies and support the parent in hospital. And like Mel said, due to COVID, we haven't been able to do that. The only state we're actually doing in-hospital support at the moment is WA, which is fantastic. But in New South Wales and all other states, and one hospital in Queensland, my apologies. But New South Wales, we haven't been able to do any in-hospital support. So we've had to try to come up with new ideas, be very tech-savvy. So we've got Nurture Time online to help parents, but it's helpful, but it's not the same as face-to-face. Parents, when we walk into a hospital and do Nurture Time, we say, we understand what you're going through. We're not doctors, we're not nurses, we're parents just like you. Their shoulders literally drop and just go, oh my God, so you get it. I said, we get it. We get it. We're not there to lecture, we're not there to do anything. They've got social workers in hospital to deal with grief and any other anxiety parents might have. We're there to support, and we really, really miss doing that. The good thing we do have still going is our nurture groups, which is when families are discharged from hospital, you've taken baby home, you can still get some sort of support from us from our nurture groups. We have 18 nurture groups running nationally around Australia. They're a great tool, great resources for families to meet other families who have been through either the same or a very similar journey as themselves. And it's just, if you have been discharged from hospital and you feel you need some support and would like to meet other parents as well, please jump on our website at miraclebabies.org.au, register for one of our nurture groups. It is coming to the end of the year. We've probably only got a couple left until Christmas break, but they'll be back and running in February next year, and we'd love to see you at our nurture groups.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to highlight one more staff. So this is one of the fellows at Liverpool Hospital, and she says that she feels serious pride when one of our extreme prems or very sick term neonates are discharged home. Working with these babies shows me every day what resilience is and that there is always hope. And her challenges, she said, having to give bad news to parents is always difficult. The pride I feel when the baby does well gets replaced with a feeling of guilt and sadness when the baby does poorly. So it's just such a hard time, isn't it, for so many families when they go through the NICU. We know that in Australia up to 1,000 babies lose their fight for life and don't get to go home with their families. And, you know, that's such a big big part of what we do as well in terms of supporting families, you know, through both being able to have access to other parents, but through our memory boxes that we hand out. So absolutely amazing. So we hope, there haven't been many comments, but if you want to leave a comment, that's great. But we hope that you're logging on. I'm going to bring up that screen again. So you jump online in the link that's in our bio for today and send us your thank you Nicu messages. Also send us, if you want to send us a message of any of the staff that you would love to see highlighted, send us a message and we'll definitely contact the hospitals and track them down and hopefully get a picture and some comments for them, which will be absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to lastly, I wanted to share with you. So Thank You Nick has been running for quite a while, for a number of years. And I actually, when I was building the content for today, I actually found the very first message that I had written for my boys. So I thought I'd share it. So it looks a little bit different, but it says, to the incredible staff at Liverpool Hospital NICU, thank you for looking after our boys when we couldn't and for helping create the family we desperately wanted, and for being an amazing catalyst for the little idea that has become Miracle Babies Foundation. So I just wanted to share a really quick story. So this is Dylan. Dylan's my second born. So I had my first at 34 weeks and then Dylan at 27 weeks. And Dylan came quite quickly. I was in hospital just over 26 weeks, and then 4 days later they couldn't stop him and he was delivered just after midnight. And the doctor that was on duty was this doctor here, Dr. Rodney Tobianski, and he is absolutely amazing to me.
You say his name and Mel shines.
Yes.
She adores him.
Absolutely, because I know without him being there that night, we wouldn't have Dylan. And this is a photo taken from last year when the hospital celebrated 25 years of the NICU. And honestly, that moment when they were introduced and watching them shake hands, I actually felt something in my body, like in my stomach. Like it was just so magical and powerful for me. And then to see them, you know, have a chat, you know, I don't know if they felt the strength of it, but I definitely did.
As a parent, did you?
Yeah. And the one thing I remember about Rodney, so the night that Dylan was born, you know, the room was filled with people, but it was incredibly quiet. And I remember noticing that Dylan never cried. And he was shown to me very quickly and then taken straight to NICU, and then the room felt like it was empty. A little while later, after I was able to get up, they walked me down to the NICU, and there were so many people working on him that I couldn't actually see. I knew the baby was obviously in there, but I couldn't see him. All I could see was the team working on him. And at one moment, Rodney actually looked up from the work he was doing at Dylan, found my eyes and nodded at me. And I've never forgotten that moment, because for me, it's like he acknowledged me as his mother. And, you know, it was very quick. He then, you know, put his eyes back to the baby, and then that was his focus. And we were asked to leave and wait in the quiet room and then wait for him to come and tell us, you know, what had happened. But yeah, so this is the power and this is the difference, and I will never forget those moments. And like Tina just said, I definitely light up when I think about him, and he's so humble. I think he gets quite embarrassed.
He does. He's very humble.
I make such a fuss about him. But so these are the things, and the staff do get the messages. They 100% get the messages. In some hospitals, we print them all out and they put them up in their staff lunchrooms, and that they can all read them. So again, we're going to finish there, but I just wanted to make sure that if you can, jump online onto our website, which is miraclebabies.org.au, but the link to this page will be in the comments, but it will also be in the actual description. So we'd love to hear from you. Share your messages. It's been absolutely amazing. This is the 4th Facebook Live, so we did one every week. I'm going to bring us back on the screen. There we go. We did one each week across NICU Awareness Month. In the first one, we spoke about research called Be Sweet to Babies. So for those of you that still want to participate in our research surveys, they are definitely still open. You can just jump on the website and access those. I might pop the website, or sorry, the the link to that in the comments as well. And that's helping research into pain management for babies that are born premature or sick, or obviously babies in NICU go through so many different procedures, and they could be simple ones in terms of, the tubes being put down for feeding, or lines being put in, or blood being taken, but to help them, with the pain that they experience, there's some really simple ways, and there's research about that. So we'd love for you to be part of that and help out. And also, we've been talking across the month about increasing paid parental leave for families that have had premature sick babies. And the things that we want to see happen is that for every week that your baby spends in NICU, you get an extra week of paid parental leave. That way, when your baby's discharged, you get to be put on the same footing as a baby that's had been born full term, and help for those families. So they're definitely still open. And like we said, last week was World Prematurity Day, and on Friday we're going to celebrate Thank You NICU Day, and then that'll be November for us. So it's been absolutely amazing to share this month with all of you, and that we hope that next year, I hope to have a whole program of having hi Danielle, I just noticed the comments, that we hope across the year that weekly we'll be able to bring new sessions and new topics. So if you like what you've been seeing, we'd love to hear from you and tell us what you want to see happen. So for now, bye from us, and hopefully get online and send us your thank you NICU messages.
Thanks
for being on, Tina.
Oh, thank you, Mel. It's been joy. And remember, parents, if you need support, if you're going through a NICU or special care nursery journey at the moment, please reach out to us. Jump in our website. You'll get lots of information. We've just launched a brand new website a couple of weeks ago, so we're very, very happy with that. And we're here for you. We get what you're going through, even if it's just for a chat.
Yeah.
Please
so we
call.
have our 1300 24-hour family line that you can call.
Yep.
And we also have what we've introduced on our new website is Nurture Connect. So you can actually send us directly a message, and one of our family support team will be in touch with you and help you.
And that will be me.
Yes.
So they come to me. So please reach out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks,
Love, joy, and
guys.
miracles.